Hey, folks, if you're joining us live through the live stream, today is September 22nd, and we're going to spend some time in class reviewing for the test on Thursday. The test is going to only be over the materials that we've covered so far. I have a testing prompt for you. I'm going to post it on the Google Classroom after we stop the live stream. So make sure you study your notes over the Gilded Age and the Progressive Era up to the Spanish-American War. Your prompt is going to have to do with people's rights, either how there were problems with it or how people had efforts to improve it. You're going to get to pick how your essay works out. So your test is going to be the same as the kids who are here in live, and you're going to have 10 multiple choice questions and a essay. The essay is going to be worth 40%, and the multiple choice questions are going to be worth 60%, being 6 points each times 10. So just give me a minute. I'm going to get our study materials up so you can listen in on that. Henry, why do you always want to do Kahoot?
Kahoot. Because they help me.
Because they help you? I don't think I've done a Kahoot in
since last year.
Like before Christmas.
Remember we did a princess Kahoot?
Oh, yeah.
That was for before we went on spring break.
Oh, was it?
Our tragic moment.
Well, the day before break's always tough because
So can we do it this before?
Oh, okay.
I don't like Kahoot. I don't want to laugh.
It'll be faster.
No.
Yeah. But hey, folks, if y'all are sitting next to one another, you're supposed to wear a mask or you're supposed to spread apart. I just remembered this.
We're friends.
So I don't care.
If you're friends,
I don't care if you're conjoined twins. You're still gonna have to wear the mask.
Wait, whoa. If
Well, yeah, in my room, right? So.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. So just a minute. Yeah, okay. So oh no, not create. I had a couple of good ones I used last year. I just got to pull them back up. So yeah, if you have a device, you can go ahead and get it out. We're going to do a Kahoot review. Hey, I got rid of my history. That's not good. I was going to use that. Those are our favorites. Hey, there they are. I found them. All right. So here, look at the door. So let me get this Kahootin. Now, remember, everyone must participate. Wait, it lets me do this. Okay.
Okay, the ones on
I like the animated.
Yeah, the ones on.
Forget my name.
No, I look at it. That's great.
Hey, if you're joining us virtually, you can still join. I want to try to put the camera on the code. So there's the code. So it says 899-2908. So, hey, for you real kids who are here, here's your code. So if you don't have a device, no, I wasn't. I'm like right in front of you.
Sorry.
Okay, so all right, so there's the code.
Do we have to use our real name?
Nothing vulgar. Like as long as I know who you are, I don't care. You want to join somebody for a team, Rebecca? It's okay.
I didn't get it back.
Okay. Elijah, what happened to your wrist?
My dog.
Wow.
She just surprised me.
Oh,
that shark
Since she's on the dog, she does a lot of damage to me.
Dang.
Have you went to like a groomer to file her nails?
No, that's what we do, like when we walk, that's like the file. For
Yeah.
her haircuts, we have like a road, just like all the files. For her haircuts, she has
Yeah. What kind of dog is it?
boxer.
Boxer. Okay. Whew. Let my dog did right to me. She's a master.
She's like half my height.
Like when she stands up.
No.
Like on two legs.
No, like on 4 legs, she's half my height.
That's cool. Yeah, my dog hyperextended my knee last week. She's jumping around playing with another dog. Boop, knee went backwards. Ah! Now it still hurts.
I need 2.
Right. So we got 6.
Me
I heard 5, 6, 7, 8. At least 9. Hey, are y'all sharing a phone? Or y'all both got? Okay, so good. So we got more people who should be in. There's more than 6 of you with phones. So and we got at least one person online, right there. So
Wait for me.
okay, I'm waiting. I'm waiting real hard.
Who's Abby Jane?
I'm just kidding.
Who is Abigail?
Who's Kaden?
Who's King? Oh, that's one.
Okay, let me see.
There's some. It says one's loading.
Who's loading?
Oh, that's the name. That's not fair.
I thought it was.
Trick me.
I bet you've been saying that for this whole
Wait, is
time.
it seriously Sarah's name?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was somebody's name at first. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
I can't see it, so.
8, 9, 10. There should be 10 of you. Ah, well.
Right now? No, it's not the Wi-Fi's right now.
Oh, okay. Well, do the best you can. I'll give you another minute.
Now it's like.
Hey, look. It's a Mexican.
How did we lose a person?
I was the first one to be there.
There's some truth, and then there's something else.
So you're loading.
She's loading.
So sneaky.
That's been driving me crazy.
You just be saying that?
I'm just waiting for the real name to pop
I
up.
have it since 9th grade. I've used it since 9th grade. You've been loading for years, yeah. Every time it sounds like a
All right. Whether erase here or not, let's start in a second.
Why didn't you say anything when we said who's loading? Oh, so you got first place if you got it. No way.
I believe you.
So sweet. So sweet. Hey, let's go ahead and begin, kids. Boop. The Gilded Age. Oh, they changed it a little. We talked a bit about this. Why would they make a law keeping Chinese people out of America? Yeah, because it was about jobs, remember? They said that they didn't work for a lot of money, so it was hard for them to make money. They drove down the wages, is what the argument was. So let's see. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right. Good job, kids. Click. Next one. Okay, Great Plains. We didn't talk about it. It's the Homestead Act. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
What is it?
Homestead Act.
That's the
Circle.
one I clicked.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, Homestead Act had to do with it sounds like something I should have added to the slides. Yeah, it had to do with helping out with cheap land and stuff like that out west. Yeah, the Dawes Act, I think that actually has something to do with like Native Americans living on reservations. So good job. Good job.
Why don't I have a triangle?
I think it's because they are rising and you are lowering.
Interesting. That's a bit disrespectful.
I forgot.
Which one did it not?
Oh, not?
Not?
Did it say not?
Except is the
except.
same as like not.
Oh.
Yeah. What's the exception? End of slavery. The Gilded Age did not end urbanization. Urbanization is the increase of cities. It did not end the growth of business. It was the growth of business. Yeah, it did not end slavery. That was Civil War. Well, thanks for not picking political corruption, everybody. But yeah, slavery was ended by the Civil War and specifically the 13th Amendment. You
I mean, I did.
remembered that from 8th grade.
My finger slipped.
Oh, okay.
The right one.
Okay, it all comes out. Okay.
King Chief.
All right, good job.
Guanguito.
Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Guanguito.
What does urbanization mean? I just told you what urbanization meant.
Yeah.
Like I literally just said it. It fell out of my mouth.
It's the growth of farms.
I
Wait,
thought it was
what?
well. Wait,
Oh, it's the
no.
growth of cities? Whoa.
Very good. Hey, he was kidding when he said farms. He wasn't being real. So, yeah, I don't even know what you would call that. Agriculturalization? I don't know. But yeah, urbanization. The Latin word urbis, city. So, you know, those of you who've had a couple of years in Latin. Very good. Click. All right. Urbanization leads to all of the following except. Okay.
I don't even know what one of those things means.
Which one?
Tenements.
Tenements has to do with like people living in an apartment, right?
Oh, okay. No. Makes sense.
I still don't know.
I think you should figure it out. I think you can figure it out. I think you got it. Yeah. So it's the other way around. Improved transportation leads to the suburbs.
Sorry.
So we haven't. I guess we haven't quite talked about that yet. But yeah, I do have a spot where we'll talk about the growth and change of cities. It's going to be more in. I'm sorry, but yeah. So as transportation improves with like cars and trains, people start moving out of the cities. I kind of mentioned that. I mean, at one point we were talking about slums.
Looks like my speaker stopped caring. It's like,
Next one. All right. How did the gold rush and the Homestead Act? Okay, we didn't talk about the gold rush yet.
What is it?
How did they change society? They both had to do with people moving out west.
So it's green?
What did I say?
Oh, wait.
The gold rush had to do with people moving to California and Alaska. The Homestead Act, you've already seen what that did. Ah!
It's green.
Yeah, I can't just come out.
What? What? You want to make it a-
It's green.
Oh, well, kinda. Okay, now the gold rush did displace some Indians, but not as much as the Homestead Act. A lot of Native Americans were already very displaced by the time the Homestead Act was around. I think they're wrong. I think it was.
The Gorge and the Homestead Act didn't cause
Yellow. The yellow happened because of many other regulations by Andrew Jackson in the past.
Yeah, because by then most Indians were, and a lot of Indians were removed later on by the federal government, not because of the Homestead Act, but because they had the army finally available to do it. So
Actually,
I think they're wrong. I'm sorry. I take the points away.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, boo them.
Wait, you know what else?
They haven't done it.
Fertile soil.
was she gonna have to go see the next one?
No.
Yeah, if I didn't talk about it, I'm gonna give you an answer. Fertile soil.
Wait, is that actually an answer? Or are you giving it to-
Wait.
Yeah, I'm giving you a real answer. Yeah, the Homestead Act. It was to help people move out west. A lot of it was made.
The answer is which one?
Buffalo soil.
I said it 4 times. Fertile soil.
Oh my god. No,
Yeah. So this law it had 2 parts. One part was to give land to the railroad companies to make railroads, and the other part was to help people move next to those railroads. So it helped out the railroad companies and it helped out the farmers. But yeah, it was good fertile soil. They're going to over farm it though, and going to lead to the Dust Bowl later. All right, next one. Which type of people dislike the immigrants? We did talk about this. There's a word. You talked about this term.
Every grade from, was it 8th, 7th?
Yeah.
I don't see
They,
it.
no, they included 6 and 7 graders.
No. No. No, it was just 7th grade, not 6th
Oh,
grade.
it's just 7?
Not 6th grade.
Yeah. No, that's just 7th grade, not 3rd.
I don't even know what the flu.
7th grade.
Nativist. Because you prefer the native people who were there as opposed to the non-natives, right? So not political bosses. Political bosses loved immigrants coming over from Europe because they could often kind of be bribed to vote for them, right? Union leaders? Nah, I don't see how that fits. Sorry, kids. Good. All right.
Still can't.
What is a labor union? We did talk about the unions a bit.
I don't know.
Really? Come on. Think about it.
I'm guessing.
Think about the word. What's a union? That should give you. That should at least eliminate a couple of them.
Green is right? I don't know.
That's something.
It kicks me out.
It did.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Did you make it mad?
Or is it red? I think it's red. Yeah, it's red.
Yeah. A group of people demanding better work conditions. Yeah. There's still labor unions around today. All right. But no. Why would people demand worse working conditions? Why did you stop picking? Come on now. Yeah, our job's too easy. We'd like to work harder for less money.
Sorry.
Yeah, you should be.
My fingers slipping at full time.
Slippery fingers.
I got butter.
Gross. All right. Which labor union accepted anybody and everybody? Oh gosh.
NFL.
I think it was the American Federation of Labor. I want to skip this one though. These two are real unions, but it was the Knights of Labor. See, I was wrong. Yeah, we needed to skip that one. I'm sorry. That would have been
It's
wrong.
still marked it wrong, except that we lost our answer sheet.
Yeah, that's.
But see, the thing is,
You're behind.
this is in the textbook. But the thing is, the textbook, we're only making the dual credit kids buy it because it's like $80. So we're not making y'all buy it. So. Sure.
You just took a.
The industrial movement was a shift from what? We did talk about this. What was that one thing we talked about? Like the Bessemer process to make the Bessemer. Iron steel. The Bessemer process. So they take like pig iron and they put it through a process that can pump a lot of heat and carbon into it to make it into good, durable, cheap steel. And we're still going. All right. Next one. What is a monopoly?
Really, it's not a board game.
We spent a lot of time talking about monopolies already.
Hey, number
No,
triangle won't be wrong though.
But it's like totally not what
you
we're
said
talking about.
triangle, and I immediately looked at the square, and I was like, that's not right.
Da. All right. Very good. You all got it right. I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
It should be.
Remember we
It should be
talked.
actually, never mind.
Okay. Don't worry. You'll have an awesome test. What did Carnegie make his money in?
Oh, I forgot.
Well, it's related to a question we already had. That's a hint. So, like we were talking about. We talked about how he basically made modern like America at the time because of his product. You could use this product to make. Yes, he owned a company called U.S. Steel. We talked about this. Carnegie is one of the few guys we spent a long time talking about, and we talked about he had a virtual monopoly on that steel that was used to make bridges and buildings and railroads and stuff like that. And he used, guess what? The Bessemer steel process, but not iron. No, not iron. Iron's different from steel. Iron's brittle, it rusts. Steel is flexible and strong, and it doesn't rust as anything. I mean, it still rust, but all right, moving on. So, what did Rockefeller make his money in? We mentioned Rockefeller. He had something called Standard
Oil. Gas.
I didn't mean for you to say it.
Oh, you didn't want me to say
I was
that?
helping. I didn't mean for you to help him. Yeah, Standard Oil. And remember we had like images like the octopus.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, that was Rockefeller.
sugar is spicy.
Was he the first billionaire? Oh, no. I did that right.
Huh?
I was saying he's the first billionaire ever, but that's not true. I think he's the first American billionaire.
I'm not sure who the first billionaire was, or much less American billionaire. Why are big businesses bad during the Gilded Age? So why do they get such a bad rap? Remember we called them some of the good ones were called captains of industry, but the bad ones were called robber barons, remember? So yeah, the product's no good. Well, I mean, people were still buying them, but yeah, some of the products were, of course, not so good. Like we were talking about bad meat, bad medicine, stuff like that.
Who got it wrong?
Nope. Whoa, Robert. Whoa. We don't shame people.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was me.
What power allowed for rapid industrialization in the 20th century? So we talked about inventions, things. Well, TNT, yeah, TNT was pretty big, but I'm just gonna tell you, it's not that.
Oh, wait, it was. No, it was electric.
Oh, because the guy who invented dynamite, Nobel, he's the guy who made the Nobel Peace Prize. So
No peace.
yeah, and he made the guy invented bombs like dynamite that went into bombs and stuff, but also to help like make tunnels and stuff and dams and wells and stuff like that. Also made the Nobel Peace Prize. So, sorry, not petroleum. Petroleum will come a bit later in more use. Steam had already been around for a long time. Remember, long time. It's electricity. Remember we were talking about light bulbs and electric motors. Electricity was already being used for like telegraph wires. It's going to be revolutionary. You still use it today, believe it or not. All right. What type of classes did we teach? Oh yeah, Tim. I mentioned this. Remember on the reservations, their way of life was changing, and so their kids had to go to school. I mentioned this. It was like day 2. They wanted to Americanize them. What do you think the first step to Americanizing Native Americans would have been?
English.
You're right, the English language.
Ooh.
The English language, yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
What?
Okay, yeah, because like they made them go to schools, remember?
Me too.
They made them dress like Americans, get haircuts like Americans. They had to go to boarding schools. They had to learn English. Then they could learn things like government history and science. Taught them how to farm. It taught them how to wash their hands, stuff like that. How to go to the bathroom in a toilet instead of outside. So they were Americanizing. And yeah, whenever you're trying to make somebody part of a cult, in history, culture and language are synonymous. It's not like that in all fields, but in history, it's considered synonymous. All right, next one, kids. What brought about an end to the cattle drives in the Great Plains? We talked about this. Cattle, like cowboys, the thousands of cows going up to the choo-choo trains up north. Yes, barbed wire. Once they enclosed all of those farms, then the cows couldn't go through them. And if they tried to clip them, there were laws made that would have very stiff penalties. In some places, you could get hung for like clipping fences.
You don't know?
You have to know the text.
Moving right along. Since the Industrial Revolution brought about big business, the government was forced to we talked about this, especially when we talked about think about the progressive era. We're like, whoa, this is all too big, so we need to regulate. So these guys that said they were around, the captains of industry were like bribing the politicians to make laws that helped them. Nationalizing industry, some people like the populist called for that and socialist, but nobody listened to them. Subsidize, glad you didn't pick that. That means that's where they get tax money. No, we didn't do that. Yeah, they started regulating, started making laws to like break up monopolies, make sure that workers weren't in danger and didn't have to work like 90 hours a week, stuff like that. Okay, here we go. King Cheech donut. Okay. Civil service reforms during the Gilded Age were a response to civil service. We talked about what civil service is. So think big thoughts. Big thoughts.
Oh, that would be.
Really?
Give it away with big stuff.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, very good. Sorry, not labor unions. Look, civil has to do with the city, like the Latin word, like Latin word for civilization, civitas, like the place where people live. So, yeah, civil service. Political machines, remember, that was kind of like where a political party completely ran a city. And when the party was in charge, all the jobs went to the party boss's friends. Civil service reform tried to make it based on who was the best person for the job. It's called merit. So instead of having friends or people who bribe their way get into positions, they wanted people who actually knew how to do the job. So that's what the reform was, civil service reform. Response to immigration, not so much. Good job not picking urbanization. Labor unions, no, that wouldn't be a civil service thing. So there will be reforms to labor unions later, but not quite there. So moving right along. Next one. The Homestead Act created small farms, but refusing to follow Dawes Act led to I think it's reservations.
You should win on
Reservation. I think it's reservations, because the Dawes Act had to do with Native Americans.
reservation.
I don't like this. They always ask a question on Dawes Act. I have to go back. Wait, I included a slide with Dawes Act at the end of it.
I
Yeah,
think you too.
yeah, I mentioned the Dawes Act. Yeah, reservations. So remember, this had a lot to do with Americanizing Native Americans, and it was supposed to teach them how to farm and not be hunter-gatherers and stuff like that. But there was a lot of resistance, because it was against their culture and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
And we're still chugging right along.
T.I.'s.
All right, so let's see. Who likes political machines?
Oh, wait, my bad.
Yeah, so remember, I gave you this answer like on the first or second question. I actually gave you this answer.
Not nobody.
Not nobody.
That is nobody.
Yeah, it's immigrants. Remember, I told you, especially places like immigration hubs like New York, these folks would come in and these party bosses had like their own like group that they would focus on. Like this guy was like for the Italians, so he'd make sure that the Italians had certain things, but the Italians always knew to vote for him. This guy had the Irish, and so on and so forth.
Like Italian immigrants, if you vote for me, you'll get extra rights.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Hey, I'm Italian too, so I'm going to make sure that your streets aren't quite as filthy, and your kids don't get beat up on the way to work, not school, work." Right. Last one. What two topics contribute to urbanization? Urbanization. We already discussed what that is. So don't say what is urbanization again. Don't say that one.
Never mind.
Accommodation.
Yes. Industry and immigration. Industries were being built, and so that made jobs. But most Americans at the time did not want to work in a smelly factory all week. So people who wanted that work was brought in from Europe to work in those positions. As people come in to work in the cities, they live in the city. Makes sense, right? So the city gets bigger. It's urbanization. So jobs lead to immigrants, to lead people living together and making bigger cities. So
Exploration and expansion would be imperialization too.
say what again? What?
Red's exploration and expansion would be imperialization.
Yeah, it'd be a form of it. I mean, where you're like going in and taking over land. But yeah, that's definitely not it. Accommodation, Americanization, that's definitely not it. So, what is urbanization? Well, thanks for not picking green, everybody. That would have been like shameful. All right, third place.
What? Oh, Mom.
It was a close one.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, congratulations. Yay! All right, and there, look, we even have runner-up. It vanished.
New student use. I know.
Hey, we can do another one.
Yay.
But hey, this one is probably going to have some things that we didn't quite. Oh yeah, I gotta. This one's probably not going to have. What can I say? Some of the things in this one are things that we have not gone over yet. We have talked a bit about the progressive era, but we're not done with the unit. So you gotta be quick getting your stuff in this time, though.
Oh, is that you?
Oh wait. Oh, we better just start. Oh yeah. Hey. All right, kids. The pin is loading, and it says the code is 181238. Or for the rest of you, 181238.
Another one?
Well, yeah. I mean, we still got. We're in class for like 20 more minutes or something, right? Like
No, we
25.
got
Like, maybe 15.
We can do some of it. I'm going to try to be faster to skip the ones we haven't talked about. But if you feel like any of this is confusing you, you should probably read your notes. If you've taken really bad notes, go into Google Classroom and look at the material I provided. It's simple as that. So I put all of my notes that I worked so hard on making for you online. I shared it. And we got our lectures on the YouTubes. So really. Yeah. No lie. I would never lie to you, Robert, especially if I'm not getting anything out of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
All right. I think we got one more. Okay. Hey, are we ready, kids? Anybody else?
That's you. Nobody gave me yeah. Really?
I thought we had 9 people. Oh, I see 8. Well, we're going to start anyways because of time in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Progressive era. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, we talked about. Okay, you should know this. Characterized by. Which one's most right? We have talked about it. Talked about the growth of government. Remember, before the Civil War, all the government did was the mail and the military. Now it's like doing so much more stuff.
Yes.
All right. Next one. We focus on
No.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
yeah, like like the kids. The kids don't need to be chopped up with the machinery, things like that. Workers probably should be paid money instead of just a little bit of money. Very good. Well, I can imagine that easier than just leaving them there. All right. Political change, characterized by expansion of the political culture. Oh man.
I can't read. She's bringing me up.
I'm divided.
What was it?
I think you should know it. Individual rights for Americans. Yeah, because it was about the idea of expanding more democracy, right? Like more democratic society. Very good. Next one. which list of progressive era presidents is the correct? Oh gosh. Okay. Oh, you should know that.
Oh, that's so.
We didn't talk about Wilson. So what does that tell you? If we haven't got to him yet, he must be.
Mr. Wilson. Isn't it?
Because if we haven't talked, yeah, he's last. So Teddy Roosevelt, we've been talking about him. Howard Taft, he's going to be kind of like, he's going to be basically appointed by Teddy Roosevelt. And Woodrow Wilson, we'll get to him later. But he's going to come in for a surprise victory right before World War I. All right, moving right along, kids. 17th Amendment. Oh, yeah. We did talk about this one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Bob.
Oh, that one's
It took the power of this away from the states and instead gave it to look, hey, wait, the 17th. No, wait, that's like the 14th Amendment. Red is the 14th Amendment. Kids, I mean, okay. So, yeah, see, the founders intended for the Senate to be for the states and the House, the House to be for the people. But the 17th Amendment gave both the Senate and the House to the people for the direct election of senators. Just so you know, All right. Next one. Listed. Hey, yeah. Now, we didn't talk about direct party primaries, but I think that's okay. You should know by now, 17. Don't y'all remember we had the anniversary of the 19th like a couple of weeks ago? Yeah, I think so. Citizens became more involved in the election process. All right, about 10 more minutes. Yeah, so that's what it was about. Very good. All right, what was in effect? Oops, hit the computer. Oh yeah, we did talk about initiative, referendum, and recall. Remember? Because. Okay. Robert, don't you remember like initiative, referendum, and recall were because things were so messed up? This is a way for people to do things like recall. You're a bad mayor. We're going to recall you out of office. Initiatives and referendums were allowed so that people could actually get laws passed without having to rely too much on politicians. So. Alrighty. We never mentioned his writings, but we did mention what he wanted. I think we did talk about this answer right before we talked about the NAACP, or after. That's a start. Yeah, he wanted equal rights immediately for African Americans, whereas Booker T. Washington wanted to give it time, turn the other cheek, and kind of like all that. Yeah, so green would have been Booker T. Washington. Very good. Next one. All right. Journalist and social reformer Ida B. Wells responsible for sudden brutality. We did talk about Ida B. Wells. Remember, she was a journalist. Oh, wait, it says that. But yeah, we talked about this. Yeah, she wrote about a couple of things, but one of which one's the most brutal? Huh? Yeah, lynching. Yeah, because
you tie someone, you take someone, you put them in a noose and you hang them from a tree.
Yeah, so that was race-based mob murder, right? So, and this mostly happened to African Americans. So yeah, she was making sure the whole country knew about it. Because I don't know, people need to know. Yeah, but not gambling, good. Child labor, no, not quite her game. Alcohol abuse, no. There are a lot of people who were against that, but no. There you go. Next one. Oh man. Oh, that's kids. We're gonna skip that. That's. Yeah, I can see that. That's from the jungle, but yeah. It was basically talking about how nasty places were that would process food and how it needed to be cleaned up. That wasn't fair. Whoa. But we skipped it. What's we didn't talk about the 1912 election yet. Skip it.
What?
That had to do with Woodrow Wilson. We didn't talk about it
I
yet.
got it right.
Popular writing. Conflict between President Theodore Roosevelt, who invited him.
It has to do with the creation of like national parks. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just gave the answer. So we haven't quite talked about Roosevelt's conservation policy yet, but yeah, he's the guy who's like the godfather of national parks and conservation. The idea of keeping like nature pretty in America instead of like chewing it up.
Oh. Yeah.
I gave you the answer. How do you know? Like, conservation, property, parks. I told you. Hey, I think we're going to have to end it there because of time. So, does anybody have any questions about the test? Instead of a warm-up, when you come back, I'm going to give you some time to go over your notes and stuff like that for a little bit. But for those of you who are online, I will post it online for you. So make sure you study for that. And if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. Talk to you later.